the place, so I can get an awful lot of stuff out. We'll see what all happens and how long can go. Jackson is expected to be popular in a short while. We see whether or not. There we go. We'll see how our stream goes. This is Evolution Hour 217. Just finishing up on Chapter 7 of The Interminable Replacing Darwin. He's actually got a little bit of more footnotes in there, but it's all theology stuff like news bulletin. Genesis promises there will not be any other floods. Isn't that nice? That's good of us to know. So it'll now be chapters 8, 9, and 10 to deal with in subsequent issues. Part 2 will relate to a Discovery Institute bibliography, where they were attempting to establish how incredibly vibrant the intelligent design movement is. Yeah, it turns out that's not really the case as well. So depending on how much of a show we get to put on, we'll definitely have enough of a window that I can put, aha, Jackson has just arrived. Hello, Jackson, say hello.
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 It is me.
Yeah, the connection's been bouncing up and down all over the place, and it looked like a pretty good connection, so I decided I would just start the show up and get the announcements out of the way. We're going to be finishing off Chapter 7 of Jeanson's book because the rest of the footnotes are just theology, so he's only got a couple sources on bats that throw up, and then we're going to be discussing the 2017 Discovery Institute bibliography that I bumped into from that weird lecture the Booma gave that I discussed a couple episodes back. And so I did kind of a spreadsheet analysis to find out how well they were doing. Since we're in the new year, I'll tell everybody about patrons that I'm not sure about how some of the patronage things are going on stuff, whether or not people have gotten their accounts bumped over and that. I know Ian Chen had some problems down there south of the hemisphere on it. And so the names I'll be reading today are the ones that I know are still on the patronage list. We got Hendril, Eric, Suris, we got Ian Penn, Convert Me, Stephen Early, James Fitzwater. Thank you for raising your contribution. That is much appreciated. History Minor, Apologia, Ralph Pledger, Benjamin Simpson, Slava, Speed of Sound, Studio Dimwing, Command Cyborg, Duronku, The Lavender Lady, Christopher Johnson, Antoine Batz, Baron Miguel Beddoes, Nana, Morton Nielsen, Bo Rasmussen, Alex Stone, and Paul Williams. And I'll not mention the time only because I'm not in the category, and then we can worry about that in subsequent months. So Chris, Dan, I see Dan is here. Yes, we're citing you this week because this is the second terrible mistaken positions about mutation rate and fudges dated and all that. You and David Neff and I've done. Oh, Lisa, she started debunking. Isn't it fun? Everybody needs a hobby, you know? Waiting for that to show up on the screen there. Come on. There we go. There we go. Yeah, well, a little bit of breaking up. Breaking up is hard to do. The connections bounces up and down to about 40, 50, 60. Once in a while, it's all the way up to 80 and 90%. Bear that in mind. The meat of the thing will be in the linkages that will be coming up. So back to the primary course at hand. Were thought to be kind of maybe closely related, or knowledge turns out to actually be now classified as separate families. And he goes, aha! Well, maybe you need to read the papers. Why these are within do so, but he
RJ, it's breaking up pretty bad. Oh, and we lost RJ. Oh, he's back.
Bear with. We're back. We're back. Yes, in 27 seconds. But the 2000 paper then was a dismal misrepresentation of the work, and then the 2010 paper was definitely about biogeography because it suggested, quote, suggesting a middle Miocene trans-Beringian dispersal from Asia colonized North America with subsequent South American colonization and diversification prior to the formation of the Isthmus of Panama 3 to 4 million years ago, unquote. That's going to fit into how have accounted for the formation of the Isthmus of Panama in any of their models. The biogeography of these bats are accounted for anywhere? Nope. So those two papers are excellent examples at the end of this chapter of him trying to bullshit his way past an argument with material that brings up more data. And still running at about 1.4 citations per page. It looks like it's going to move back to technications in the remaining chapters, but how much of that's going to be double dipping? How much is going to just be citing the same material that he's done before, because he's already been trotting out stuff, and whether he's going to slip in some more creationism material. Stay tuned to further episodes. We will see. Yep, sorry. Yes, RJ is breaking up again. And yes, I'm fitting into little bitsy pieces, and pretty soon there's going to be little baby, mini art all over the internet.
RJ, out of yeah, whenever we move to the next section about the list of sources, I have one important question for your list of sources analysis.
Oh, goody gumdrops. Yes, we will be and waiting for that. So I constructed a spreadsheet, and I was obviously curious about what the detailed content of it was. First of all, I want to know how many there were. This PDF is 107 pages long. And
Jesus
what it
Christ.
amounts to, it lists off a bunch of stuff, and then there's the bulk of it is just commentary on the same or most of the same bunch of stuff. So it's actually not as many sources as you think for 107 pages.
So
yeah,
basically, so like right off the bat, I think we can eliminate really any of the commentary pieces because they're not the original.
Oh, the commentaries are merely, all of that volume is just, they're not comments on the papers were published somewhere. They're just annotations to papers that they're presenting. Anyway, 131. That's the first order of business. Now, I don't want to sound like that's a large, because it's not.
It's not.
Yeah. Because I have like 29,000 technical papers in my reference field, so this is not something that shocks me. But of those 101 papers, where are they? Who are they by? Etc., so on and so forth. First of all, if you have 131 papers that's written by like 600 authors, then that means there's a lot of cooperative work, and you've got lots and lots of people involved. Sure. That's not what we got here. We got 97 people who have written those 131. That's
interesting. Okay.
62% ID writers.
Sure.
So now we're whittled down even more. Some of them are really wide stretches, like there were a bunch of philosophers like and there were also
RJ, it's roboting again. Okay, repeat that for me. Wow. Yeah. So RJ, so what percent is biocomplexity of that 131? You said 19%? Okay. Okay, so 19% of that is biocomplexity. What percent is Journal of Theoretical Biology? Really? So where are the rest of the papers? So yeah, go ahead. Okay. Yeah. I've never heard of these journals, of most of these. Yeah. Um, RJ, we're having an intriguing problem. Our audience says they can't hear you. They say I'm the only one who can hear you. Are you? Can you guys hear RJ now? You seem fine on my end. I don't know. Okay, they still can't hear you. Okay. Okay. Right. Sure. So for the apparently the audience still can't hear you, and they asked me to be the RJ translator. So uh yeah, they can hear me apparently, but not you. It's very strange because I can hear you. And I can't hear you. Oh, there you are again. Okay, so RJ said about what do you say about 19% of the of so RJ's talking about this list of citations that the intelligent design guys have tabulated all the articles that they have written or co-authored, and in total they wrote this what'd you say it was 107-page list, but only 131. Um, but apparently, despite this list being 130 or 107 pages, it only has an actual 131 citations in it, which are not just commentaries. And of those, 19% of them are from the Discovery Institute's own journal, which is Biocomplexity. So, you know, they're playing in their own sandbox here. Right. Right. Yeah. Um, RJ was discussing how in the 1990s the intelligent design proponents, or at least the original ones, had anticipated that by 2010, basically all of science or most of science would have gone to ID by now, but apparently not so much by their own admission. You know, RJ, in some ways, it kind of reminds me of any of the cults who claim the world's going to end next week, and then it inevitably doesn't, and then yeah, and, right. 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 Yeah, I think they still can't hear you, RJ. At least it looks like Vandalia says he can't. But but you're right. I, because the the whole idea of the like the complex specified information, which was so popular, has not panned out in any way in genetics, for instance. Oh, and we lost RJ again. He was just talking about how William